with the revelations of the Epstein files and the intelligence-linked human trafficking ring, Israel, I just want to remind everyone on the Zog train, the Zionist-occupied government theory, that the U.S. government and ruling elite have always been this way. A lot of people are undergoing a rapid political transformation / education, and when confronted by the shocking imperial history of the U.S., it's easier to just blame Zionist capture for things like the for-profit genocide in Palestine and say, this is not who we are. This is not what America is. But remember, I love this example because it's very apropos right now. In 1954, we overthrew the government of Guatemala, democratic government of Guatemala, installed a far-right military dictatorship under the guise of fighting communism, and militarily supported the genocide of nearly 200,000 indigenous Mayans, all for united fruit, for literal bananas, okay? And in the 70s and 80s, this is an important point, when the U.S. was more concerned with a soft power war against the Soviets and couldn't be seen to be funding and supporting those regimes that had historically done so, Israel, as it became more symbiotically merged as the dirty appendage of U.S. foreign policy, took over running the death squads in Guatemala. They were happy to be the ones also overtly advising and supporting the Sri Lankan government's genocide of the Tamils, and they don't give an F if they're the fall guy for the dirty work of the U.S. empire or capitalism in general. If any of this is shocking to you, perhaps it's because you believe that these types of colonial atrocities only existed in bygone history textbooks about like the British Raj or Weimar, Namibia. People were trafficked, slavery was abolished and replaced by the violence of the carceral state. All this kind of stuff has never gone away. It's just been repackaged. So as Epstein, an intelligence asset, was he an access agent being handled to run a transnational blackmail operation? I mean, that's kind of my operating assumption. And it was an easy one to run because the ruling elite have always been ensorcelled by acts of taboo and transgression. And my question is, this being a blackmail ring, so what? Like, does that change the overriding principles of U.S. capital extraction and unipolar global domination? What are we missing here? You know, firstly, the release of the files were timed, strategized, and managed. They were timed because they had to be incompletely released. Yes, incompletely, in order to pacify the American people and uphold the legal framework and architecture of the system as a whole. The release of the files was unavoidable, and what we received is a cynical compromise with the American people to uphold capitalism, baby. The files release was managed because they do little to expose who Epstein was associated with, including intelligence agencies. Ask yourself, for instance, why they chose to redact certain names of powerful associates while throwing dinosaurs like Larry Summers and Alan Dershowitz or clowns like Elon Musk under the bus. Why do we only have secondhand testimonies and redacted emails that you can't prosecute anybody on? Why are so many appendices missing? And why was Trump mentioned there more times than Jesus was in the Bible? They want you to focus on Trump, the orange-faced, mentally declining madman imperialist crapping his pants in the Oval Office, so that when the pendulum swings back around a Democratic administration, we can all breathe a sigh of relief that liberal democracy has been restored and we can keep funding ICE and pillaging the developing world just with more decorum. Thus, the two-party dictatorship will be upheld.